So looking at the end of every task, you'll be required to issue a project information model and sometimes complete a validation checklist. It's vitally important to keep your work in progress project information model unpurged. So if we do the following steps, let's go to BIM 360, and what I'll do is I can delete the file that I have already in the shared folder here. So let's look at our national final competition, competitor 1, day 1. Here's our architectural work in progress model, and we think that we're finished task A, for example. And what we're being asked to do then is complete a validation checklist and issue the project information model for coordination. This is all really happening in the one step. So first thing that we need to do is, let's have a look. We have in work in progress the project information model with the classification against it. So the classification 2015-70 is for a single occupancy office building that we'll find in the NBS toolkit tables, and then we can have the status code work in progress is S0. So currently this is, I think, complete, and I would now like to issue that and share it. The task does say that I have to issue for coordination. When we go all the way back to the start, we should see issuing for coordination purposes would mean a status code of S1. If we're being asked to share it for information, then it would be a status code S2, obviously. So within BIM 360, I've highlighted the file that I think I have finished, and I'm going to pick copy, and I'm going to put it directly into shared and just hit the copy button then. So that should make a copy for me into shared. Now this is the file that I would like to validate, and if I just scroll across just now, we can see it still has status code S0 against it, and we still have the same classification number against it, so that's perfect. After I've completed the validation process, I'm going to look in a little minute. I've gone through now a validation checklist, and it's going to ask me to purge the file. It's going to ask that the name is correct and so on. What I want to just double check is, within work in progress, you would never ever purge this file. You want to keep this. The reason that we want to purge this file, obviously, is we want to take out any information that is not required during the share process, and we want to make sure that we do our problem solving, any fault finding and so on. So we can go and look at the validation checklist. Once we've completed the validation checklist, let's remember to come back to this point, and all we would do then is edit the status code. So if we're being asked to do shared for coordination, once we've completed it and validated it and purged it and checked everything and we can tick everything off, that's when we want to change the status code. So currently I'm going to keep it as S0, and the reason why I keep it as S0 is just so that anyone who can see the file within shared knows that I'm still actually working on it. And the last wee point to make just before I go on and do that, this will be the file that is being marked during the judging process. Judges will look at your architectural work in progress file. They will look at that for any elements that would be purged through it, but very typically this is the file that you'll be marked on. So if you don't have a file within shared, if you don't have a file that's been purged, name checked correctly, your work sets and so on, as you'll see in a little minute, this is the file. You would end up losing your points. This is the file that you actually need to be here.